let's talk about leaseback and why it could be beneficial for you as a buyer to know what it is and to know how to structure it to help you get the property in this competitive market. Thank you for watching this video first and foremost, and if you guys haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Plus, like the video and share it with your friends. But let's get into this topic and actually talk about seller leaseback. So let's imagine this scenario. Seller has been living in a house for 20 plus years. Now the house is for sale and the seller is going to be going out of town. The seller would be relocating to the beautiful city of Las Vegas. You, as a buyer, might not necessarily care if you're gonna move into the house in a month or in 2 months, but the seller crucially needs this time to get out. For people that have spent a lot of time, several decades, in their house, that could be one of the most important points in a transaction. An ability to stay in a house for a little bit longer, to pack their belongings, and to say proper goodbyes to the house. So what is it that you as a buyer can do in this situation? One of your choices would be to have a longer escrow, but that does not necessarily mean that the escrow will close. So even if you will allow for the escrow to go on for 60 days, that does not necessarily put the seller in a position of confidence, knowing for sure that the house is going to end up getting sold. So what are the solutions in this situation? Well, one of the solutions would be seller leaseback. Let's look at this scenario. You, as the buyer, want to close the transaction in 30 days, which is more or less a standard here in Southern California. So after 30 days, you are going to become an official owner of this house. You can offer seller an incentive of staying in a house for additional period of time after you've already purchased it. What does it do to you? Well, first and foremost, you would already be paying mortgage for the property that now belongs to you and somebody else will be living there. So of course, you can charge the seller rent. However, in this competitive market, a lot of the time, buyers will allow sellers to stay in a house for free for a short period of time. Let's talk about how long can you allow the seller to stay in a house. Well, that depends on you and that depends on your lender. Here's what I mean by this. A lot of lenders will not allow you to purchase the house as a primary residence and let somebody stay in that house after the close of the transaction for more than 30 days. Some of the lenders will allow you to let somebody stay in a house for 60 days. So this is something that you would need to talk to your lender and to make sure you are not in a violation and you are not jeopardizing getting the loan and you're not putting your buyer in a position where now they could be in a violation by lying to the lender. Here's what I mean by this. If you allow somebody to stay in a house after close of escrow for a longer period of time than the lender is okay with, now getting the loan as a primary residence might be fraudulent because the lender will view this particular purchase as an investment property because somebody stays there. So it is crucial to know what you're doing as it pertains to the seller leaseback. However, this remains one of the best tools to appeal to the sellers that have spent a lot of time in their houses and need a little bit more time and a little bit more flexibility after the close of escrow to be able to pack their stuff in their own pace. Dealing with the seller leasebacks, you also need to understand that it comes with a certain degree of risk because now the house that you own has somebody that stays in it. So now you become a landlord in a sense. Depending on what documents do you use and what's the duration of the leaseback, you need to know your rights. So it is best to consult qualified professionals, which in this particular case would be a real estate attorney. Even though the probability that something's gonna go wrong in this situation is not super high, you need to know your risks and you need to understand them in order to be able to make an educated decision. In any case, seller leaseback remains one of the best ways to appeal to the seller and to get a competitive advantage in this tough market where it's not that easy to secure properties.